Hi, thank you for joining me and welcome to this beginner's yoga flow. I want you to grab 2 blocks if you have them, ideally something like this. If not, it's not a problem, but maybe just have like a cushion or something nearby to make the practice a little bit more comfortable. When you're ready, we're going to come into our seated position, Sukhasana, and we're going to recommend that you bring a block underneath the pelvis. This helps to elevate the pelvis a little bit more and tends to make the pose a little bit more comfortable. As I said, if you don't have a block, you can use a cushion or something similar underneath the pelvis instead. So resting the hands down where they feel comfortable. Maybe this is on the knees, maybe this is in the lap. Start to lengthen through the back of the body. So as if you've got some string pulling you up from the crown of the head. Roll the shoulders back and down. And let's close down the eyes for a moment or take a soft gaze somewhere on the floor. Now I always tend to open up my classes with a moment of stillness. A moment just to check in with how you're doing as you arrive on the mat today. It's not about changing anything or forcing anything. It's simply a moment to observe. See how you are and to see maybe what you need from your practice today. Noticing how the body feels. If there's any areas of tension, discomfort. How the mind feels. And then finally arriving at the breath. Noticing the breath as it flows in and out of the body. And let's take 3 breaths together to open our practice. Breathing in, filling up the lungs. Open the mouth to exhale. Inhale, expanding the body. Open the mouth to release. Last one, breathing in. Exhale. Good. Blinking, open the eyes when you're ready. Let's take a big inhale, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe the gaze follows the hands here. Exhale, take that right arm down to the side and we'll lean over to that right side. Good. Inhale, breathing into that left side of the rib cage. Exhale. Inhale, rise up through center, reaching up towards the ceiling again. Exhale over to the other side. So left arm is coming down, leaning over to that left side. Inhale here. Exhale. Good. Inhale, rise up through center, reaching up towards the ceiling. Last time. Exhale, take a twist over to the left. So you want the right hand going on the outside of the thigh, the other hand is behind you, just fingers touching to the ground if you can, supporting the spine. Inhale, grow tall from the crown of the head. Exhale, gaze over the back shoulder. Good, last breath, breathing in. Exhale. Take a twist all the way over to the other side. Left arm comes onto the outside of the thigh, other hand directly behind you, supporting the spine. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, deepen that twist, gaze over the back shoulder. Good. Inhale here. Exhale. Untwisting, bring yourself back through center. Just take any equipment out from underneath you. Move those blocks over to one side, don't need them for now. We're going to come into a tabletop position. So for this, On the hands and knees, the shoulders are directly over the wrists, fingers are spread wide. Knees are about hip width apart, and the hips are directly over the knees. I'm going to take 3 rounds of cat-cow here. So we start off by inhale, bringing the tummy down towards the ground, lift from heart center, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Big exhale, tuck the tailbone under, press into the ground, round through the shoulders, chin into chest. Good. Inhale, coming into our cow with the tummy down, heart center open. Exhale, start by tucking the tailbone first, then round through the shoulders, press into the ground. This is our cat. One more round. Inhale, open the body. Exhale, rounding. Good. Inhale, flatten through the spine. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So here again, you want the feet about hip width apart, spread fingers wide, press palms into the floor, and then use that motion to extend through the upper body, lifting the sit bones high. Now you might want to bend the knees slightly to help the sit bones lift as the hamstrings, back of the legs are feeling a bit tight. That's perfectly fine. But what you want to avoid is letting those shoulders come forwards like so. You want to have this opening of the shoulders towards the lower body. So you've got a really strong and stable base here, and this is a pose that we come to often during our class. We can start to add a bit of movement in here. So bend one knee and then the other, walking into the back of the legs. And as we're taking this moment here, you can start to bring that focus towards the breath a little bit more. It's quite difficult to connect the breath with the movement when you're just starting out with your yoga practice. But when you're holding a pose, it's that great opportunity to come back to that breath control. So breathing in deeply. And through the nose, exhale. 2 more breaths, breathing in. Again, keeping that breath through the nose, exhale. 1 more, inhale. Exhale. Looking towards the hands, a big bend in the knees, start to walk forwards towards the front of the mat. We're going to come into a halfway lift here. So keep the feet about hip width apart, slide the hands up just below the knees, lengthen through the spine, gaze forwards, pull the shoulders back away from the ears. So you have a nice flat back here. Exhale, folding down, forward fold. And you can keep the knees nice and soft. If the hands don't reach the floor, you can just bring them onto the shins. What you want is the crown of the head lowering towards the ground. Let's come back into that halfway lift. Inhale, hands just below the knees, lengthen the back body, gaze forwards. Exhale, forward fold. This time catch hold of the elbows. We're going to gently sway side to side. This is our ragdoll position. So the torso is nice and heavy here. Soften through the neck, the head, so everything's falling down towards the ground. Breathing in. Exhale, releasing the hands down. Inhale, we're going to come all the way up to stand. Sweep the arms round to the side. A nice slow curl up through the body, reaching towards the ceiling. Gaze follows the hands. Bring the palms together. Exhale, hands down through heart center. This is Samastitihi. Good. Let's flow through a sun salutation A. So find a mountain pose at the top of the mat. This is feet together, palms facing forwards towards the front of the mat. Draw the tailbone down towards the ground. Lengthen through the spine, soften the shoulders. Inhale, take the hands above the head, reaching towards the ceiling. Exhale, folding all the way down towards the ground. Maybe the hands reach the floor. If they don't, they can just catch hold of the shins, lowering the crown of the head. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. We've been here before. Lengthen the spine, gaze forwards. Exhale, hands come down to the ground. You can bend the knees. Step the right foot to the back of the mat. Then the left foot. And let's take a breath in our high plank. Exhale, lower the knees down to the ground. Then the chest, then the chin. Come into your cobra pose. We're going to lift the torso. Press the hips into the ground, squeeze the elbows behind you, soften the shoulders. And try and engage the legs here as well. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift up and back. downward facing dog. Now you can always take a moment to readjust the hands, readjust the feet. Don't feel like you need to stay in the exact position that you landed in straight away. And if the hamstring and the back of the legs are feeling a little bit tight still, we can bring that movement into the knees, bending one, then the other, just helping to wake up and lengthen through the back of the legs. One more breath here, breathing in. Exhale. Inhale, looking towards the hand, step that right foot forwards, and then the left. You can always use the hands to move the foot forwards if you wish. Come into that halfway lift, lengthen the spine, gaze forwards. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, rising all the way up to stand, reaching towards the ceiling, gaze follows. Exhale, bring the hands down through heart center. Good. Let's take that right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Come into a warrior one. So we're lunging into the front leg. Back foot is 45 degrees. Hips are square towards the front of the mat. And reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. Try and have the knees stacking directly over the ankle. So rather than it being back here or over the ankle like so, we've got a nice, strong base and support. Maybe the hands can come together with the gaze lifted, or if you want, you can take those hands a little bit apart to create space in the shoulders. Now keep that sensation of drawing the right hip forwards and left hip back, so a squaring of the hips. Let's take one more breath here, breathing in. Exhale. Warrior two. Sweep the arm under and through so that that right arm is now behind you, left arm is forwards, and we're lunging into that front leg. I've had a slight rearrangement of the feet. Front heel is now intersecting the arch of the back foot. Back foot's parallel to the short side of the mat, and the arms are spread out to the side. Now my drishti, my point of focus, is that front middle finger. So the gaze comes there. You want the front knee stacking over the ankle. And breathing into the body. Try and draw the tailbone down to the ground. One more breath here. Exhale. Front arm comes down to the front thigh. Sweep the back arm under and through. Extended side angle. Good. So you want a long straight line going all the way from the foot, along the leg, along the torso, all the way up to the fingertips of that top hand, which are reaching towards the top corner of the room. Now, as I said before, never be afraid to check the body, see if things are in the right place, and if not, we can move them slightly. One more breath in. Exhale, gaze comes down to the ground. Right arm reaches towards the floor. Lift the back heel. Now you have the option of bringing a block underneath this bottom hand. So if you feel like the fingertips are struggling to reach the ground, bring a block under that bottom hand, lift the back heel. Other arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Remember, your blocks are here to support you, so don't be afraid to use them. One more breath here. Exhale. Bring the gaze down to the ground. We're stepping forwards now to the front of the mat. Let's come into that ragdoll position. So a nice soft bend in the knees, catch hold of the elbows, allow the crown of the head to lower towards the floor. Gentle sway side to side. So what we're doing here is really going through the key foundational poses for our yoga practice. Just going through them at a pace so you can really learn the correct positioning for those poses to help build on your practice as we go forwards. Let's take an inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching up towards the ceiling. Gaze follows the hands, palms together. Exhale, hands down through heart center. So I'm going to go for the left side now. So take that left leg behind you. Find that warrior one on this side. So that back foot's 45 degrees, squaring the hips, right hip back, left hip forwards. Lunge into that front leg. If you want, you can widen the space between the line of the feet slightly so it helps the hips to square. Arms towards the ceiling. Maybe the arms are open. Maybe the hands come together and the gaze follows. Good. Stack that knee over the top of the ankle. And this is our pose here. Keep that sensation of the hips squaring, lunging deeply. This is Virabhadrasana A. Last breath in. Exhale, Warrior Two. Left arm is sweeping under and behind, taking a moment to readjust the feet. Front heel now intersects the arch of the back foot. Back foot's parallel to the short side. Hips are open. The whole body is open really to the side of the mat. Arms down to shoulder height. And where is the gaze? Yeah, front middle finger. Beautiful. Soften those shoulders away from the ears. And just really think about where you're feeling all these different sensations. The strength in that front leg, the stretch along the inside of the back leg, the engagement of the core as you lengthen through the body. Last breath in. Exhale, front arm down to the thigh. Sweep the back arm under and through. Extended side angle. Yeah, think about that long line all the way from the foot, along the body, reaching through the fingers. And the tendency is with this pose to have the kind of arm relaxed up here, but try and create this extension through the body. And I'm doing it facing away from you so you can just see what it looks like from behind. Even with this bottom arm, try not to collapse down in the arm. Press into the arm and the leg so you have some space in the body. Last breath in. Exhale. Left hand comes down to the ground, or you can grab your block at this point. Maybe take the front foot out to the side a little bit to have some space between the arm and the foot. And the right arm's coming up towards the ceiling, so we have this twist through the body. And you want this bottom hand to be in the same line as the foot. You're high on the heel on the ball of the back foot, so the heel is lifted, and you're on the toes of that back foot. Gaze follows that top hand if you can, and same again, don't relax the top hand, try and press through all the way to the fingers. Last breath in. Exhale, gaze comes down to the ground, lower the back knee, move any equipment over to the side. Let's come into our child's pose. So bring the knees together behind you. This is option one, with the chest down, reaching the arms behind. Or we can take an extended child's pose with the knees wide and reaching those arms forwards. Now I've given you two options there because people tend to find one is more restful for them than the other. So here you start to develop your own practice by understanding what feels best for you. So feel free to try both, either this extended child's pose or this traditional child's pose with the knees together and the forehead down. I'm going to go for extended at this point in time. And as I said before, when you find these poses and we arrive in a moment of stillness, this is where we can really tune back in with our breath. And using the inhale to create this fullness in the lungs. And the exhale to start to soften the body, release any resistance or tension. One more breath here. Inhale, walk those hands back towards you. Come to sit down onto the pelvis, stretch the legs out in front. I'm going to come into a simple seated twist here. So take that right knee, bending the knee, bring the heel towards you. I'm going to turn towards that right leg, wrap the left arm around the outside, just resting onto the thigh. Other hand is going to be behind you. Now engage the straight leg, so toes towards you, press the heel away. Inhale, lengthen, growing tall from the crown of the head. Exhale, gaze over the back shoulder. So we take that twist all the way to the top of the spine. Two more breaths here, breathing in, lengthen the back body. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Breathing in. Exhale. Good. Over to the other side, releasing that twist. Straighten the right leg, bend the left knee, sole of the foot onto the floor. Again, straighten and engage this bottom leg. I'm gonna take a twist towards the left now. Wrap that right arm around. Other hand is behind you, supporting the spine. Inhale, lengthens and grows tall. Exhale over the back shoulder, so we twist through the body. And once you've arrived in stillness, bring that focus to the breath. Taking one more breath here. Exhale, releasing your twist. Resting the hands down, shuffle the hips forwards towards the front of the mat, holding onto the knees. We're going to gently roll down onto the back of the body. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Good. Coming towards the end of our practice now, let's come into a bridge pose. Bring those heels close towards you. Feet are hip width apart. Press the hands, the palms down into the ground. And as you inhale, lift those hips towards the ceiling, coming into this back bend for the body. Now engaging the glutes, so the bum, and then engaging the inner thighs as well. And you might notice as you inhale, the tummy will expand up and out. And as you exhale, the tummy will soften down. One more breath here, breathing in. Exhale. Gently lower those hips down towards the ground. Let's just let the knees fall over to the right side. Stretch the arms out to the side if you've got enough space. If not, a cactus with the arms bent and the fingers towards the top of the mat. So here we can turn the head in the opposite direction to the legs, so over to the left side. And this is a gentle supine twist. One more breath here. Bring the legs up through center. Just let them fall over to the other side. So maybe just shift those hips slightly over to the right. The knees fall over to the left. And the head can turn in the opposite direction to the right. Now just breathing into the body. Starting to slow ourselves down and soften all the muscles as we come towards the end of our practice. Take one last breath here. Lift the legs up through center, straighten them down onto the ground. And rest the arms either alongside the body or maybe onto the body. That could be the hips, the tummy, the chest. Notice where the hands are gravitating for you and just allow them to sit there gently. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the feet out to the sides. Bring the chin in slightly to lengthen the back of the neck. And we've arrived here in our Shavasana, which is the stillness and relaxation we take at the end of our yoga practice. It's probably one of my favorite bits of every class. A moment after your asana practice, just to slow down. And once again check in, noticing how you feel. How the body feels. The mind, the energy, and then coming to the breath. Breathing slowly and deeply into the body. allowing everything to be soft, to be heavy. Let's take 3 breaths here together to close our practice. Breathing in. Open the mouth to exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing in. And out. Now, with every practice we do together, feel free to stay here longer if you wish. Otherwise, you can come with me by rolling over to one side, coming back up to seated. And that is the end of our practice today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you next time.